Hello my dear friends, I'm Sandeep from PIXIPACE. In last video we learned about the tools panel, especially about selection tools like move tool, marquee tool, lasso tool and selection tool. So by using those tools we are going to remove a background of a picture. If you haven't watched that video yet, then definitely you should watch that video first to better understand these tools. So if you already watched that video, then you are welcome in the Adobe Photoshop tutorial part 4. I think you already know about the selection tools of Photoshop. That's why you are here. If you don't know how to use a selection tool, then you can watch my Adobe Photoshop tutorial part 3, in which I explained about the selection tools like how to select any object. For removing the background of any picture, it's clear that we have to select our object. Now this girl is our object in this picture, so for selecting this girl or for selecting this object, I'm going to use a object selection tool. The shortcut of object selection tool is W, or you can click on this icon here. You can find the object selection tool. And if you have a Adobe Photoshop latest version like 2022, then you can simply click on any object and it will automatically detect the areas. And if you have older version of Photoshop, then no worries, you can simply make a rectangle on any object, then it will automatically detect that object and select the area. And no worries, you don't need to be precise on this step. But if you find any kind of major areas which you want to select or deselect in selections, then you can simply press shift to add more area and option or command to remove or to subtract the selected area. Like here I wanna remove this area, so I'm going to press option or alt to remove this one and make a small rectangle on that particular area. And I'm also going to do it here. As you can see here, it deselect this shoes, so I want to add this shoe too. Then I'm going to simply press shift for adding this selection, and here you can check the shoes area of shoes is selected. After selecting the object, if you want to add or remove more area, then you can also use lasso tool. Here it's a freehand tool. Like I'm also going to use a lasso tool by pressing the shortcut L. Like here I'm going to add this unselected area in this picture, so for that I'm going to press shift, and here you can check the area is selected. Now you can check our edges are not precise, but no worries, we can manage that edges in a select and mask. For next step, you need to click on this option select and mask. Now this is the select and mask area, and you can check our background is already removed, but it's not precise. You can find a lot of glitches there. So here I'm going to teach about little bit about this option. First of all, I'd like to tell you about these tools. Like this is again a quick selection tool. Here you can, it's almost work like that area tool which we already learned in a tools panel. It's the same. And next is refine edge. It automatically detect or remove and add the areas which are unselected. It's a best choice for hairs. If you want to add and remove the hairs, it automatically detect the background and foreground colors and work according to that. And next is brush. It's a common brush. It will select the areas. You can check it's a normal brush. If you want to add or if you want to remove the area, then you can simply press this icon, or you can press alt. And our next is object selection tool, it's same as the tools panel in Adobe Photoshop like we learned before. So all these tools are also available here, as you can check on this little icons or these little tools in Adobe Photoshop. Here is a lasso tool and polygonal tool you can find here, and you can add manually anything. By using hand tool you can move any object from anywhere to anywhere, like, and here you can check the show of this lady is not selected properly or unwanted area is selected. For that I can simply use a lasso tool. Here you can check unwanted area is removed. After that, let's move to our main point, that is properties of this panel. Now here you can find a lot of properties of this panel, and for that I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to show you about the view. Here you can find a number of functions like onion skin. This is currently a onion skin, and you can find it's more like a PNG image. You can find the background like a PNG, so it's an onion. If you are going to click on matching arts, then it will only select the object and show background as it is. Our next is overlay. It will overlay the foreground and background color. Like on background color it shows a specific color. You can change the color, but by default it's a red color, and you can change the opacity of the background or unselected area, as you can find. Now only our main object, only our selected area is shown, everything is hidden on by using this opacity or by using this view overlay on black. Like it can be seen clearly our background is black and foreground is our main object, and white, black and white on layer. I don't think so I need to waste my time on that. For that I'm going to use on black, because on black here you can find a lot of glitches like background pixels on our object, and for removing that I would prefer to use black color as our background for now. Let's move to our second features. Here you can find the presets. Here, if you have already selected the presets of these functions, then you can also load it and you can save it as a preset. And for now, next option is radius. By using radius slider, it will increase the radius inward and outward of the object. Like here I'm going to use it for example. Now it's a 250 pixels, as you can see here. By clicking on show edges, here you can find it's more clearly. You can check it selected that much of edges, and now it's showing only edges, and I'm going to decrease the radius. It's showing only edges because I clicked on this option. Suppose I removed this and show original, then it's not going to show you a radius. And this is with radius, this is without radius. Now as you can check, number of unwanted pixels are already removed by using the little width property of radius. And here you can find the little checkbox that is smart radius. It means it will automatically add and remove the radius in picture if needed. I prefer to use it manually. And next is smooth. Smooth slider means it will smooth the edges of any object. Here you can find this little edge. I'm going to increase it up to 100 pixels, and here you can find it smooth all the edges of object. The number of time you'll find that hurdle that your object's edges will be hard, then you can, to remove that hard edges, you can use this options like smooth. But don't play with this option too much, just try it by adding one by one, and you can find the changes in your image, in your background and foreground. Next is feather. Feather means it will add the smoothness in both sides of selection, like inward and outward. You can check. Our next slider is contrast. Contrast make the edges or make the selected area more strong edges. Like by using the smoothness tools, we converted all the edges into smooth, and here I'm going to use the contrast completely 100%, and you can check all the edges are hard now. So for that I'm just going to use it 2%. Now our next slider is shift edge. If you are increasing the shift edge like in a positive range, then it will add more edges to the selection. And if you are going to use your shift edge slider in a minus value, like in minus, as you can check, then it will subtract the edges of selection. You can find that our selection is not so clear, so for that I'm going to use a refine edge tool. First let me decrease the size of this. Here you can find it automatically adding and removing the unwanted areas of any picture. Here we need to do work on shoes. So that's why by using the quick selection tool, I selected the shoes first, then I'll remove the unwanted pixels. So here we selected our object by using only selections tools, which I already explained in Photoshop tutorial part 3. So for output setting, you click on output selection. If you click on selection, it means it will simply make a selection of your object. Layer mask, it will add the mask in same layer. New layer, it will create a new layer. New layer with mask, it means it will create a new layer with the mask. New document, a new document with the layer size is clearly defined to you. So for that I'm going to use new layer with layer mask. I suggest you to always choose this option if you don't wanna make a new document, because by using this our original layer is safe, and you can find it here. Our original layer is safe. It will create a new layer with the mask. The mask means it hide the unwanted area. If you are going to use eraser or any kind of brush tool, then it means it will delete that area completely. And if you will add a layer mask, then it means it will only hide that area, and we can find that area again by using the brush tool, clicking on layer mask, like by using a white, and you can check that. No worries, I'm going to make a new class on layer masks where I'm going to explain everything about masking, because it's the most important feature in Adobe Photoshop. Definitely you should use masking in Adobe Photoshop. Suppose if I deleted the background of this image, then probably I would need it in a future, like after some time, then it would be hard if I delete it permanently. If I use mask, it means if I hide that area, then I can use this image again and I can use this cutting again. So that's why I always prefer to use masking. And here is the option of masking. By clicking on this, you can add mask on any object. Now we are going to add the area, and probably these steps would be new for you because I didn't teach you about these pending tools of Adobe Photoshop, but after that I'm going to teach one by one. And if you have any specific requirement, and like if you wanna first know about the masking or the tools panel, then I'll work according to that. Otherwise I'll make a class on this tools panel, then I'll make the class on masking specially. So for now I'm just going to use a solid object as a background, and these steps you can remember for by clicking on this option. I'm going to use solid color. I'd prefer a same as the foreground color. It's a yellow, so I'm going to use a yellow as a background. Here we can make a shadow a little bit to make it more realistic. I'm going to use brush to make the shadow. Just increase the size. Now let's decrease the opacity of this little shadow. After that, I'm going to make a new object, and here we are going to use a feather which I explained to you. Just select the area and make a mask of that area, and after that just increase the feather. Now you can find that our image is completely ready to launch or to save. So again, I know I used some new functions there, like for adding a background and brush, but no worries, one by one I'm going to teach everything. But currently I'm focusing on main features of Photoshop so that you can start your learning in a creative way and you can start your earning as soon as possible. So I'm just focusing on those things which are really needed to earn income by using a Photoshop. Background removing is one of them. You really need to remove a background of every picture in every project. So that's why we are perfect in removing the background, and there are several other options to remove a background. In next class, I'm going to show you another tools of Adobe Photoshop. And if you really like this video, then share it with your friends so that they can also learn something from this video, and share, subscribe, and what's your view about this video. Let me know down below in a comment section. Again, thank you so much for watching this video.